Swinging a high drive into center field. It's at the wall. It is gone. Casas does it again. It's gone. It's into the bullpen. This game is tied.
And he swings and rips one to center field. It's high. It's deep. It's back. It's gone. Sale winds. He fires. Swing and a miss. Strike three. It's over. The Red Sox have won the World Championship.
Hey-o! Welcome back to Play Tessie. It is episode 79. If you're listening on drop day, it's June 6th, a.k.a. Game 1 of the NBA Finals. That's right, it's finally here. Episode 79, the Robert Stock episode, if you guys remember that guy. I called him Target Guy because he looked like he just looked like he was just like a Target employee. Big Robert Stock. Also big, this is the official podcast of Healthy Big Perk Daddy Hacks, also known as the official Red Sox podcast of WEI. Before we get going, hit that subscribe button, whether you're on the Apple app, Spotify, or the Odyssey app. Hit the subscribe button, rate us 5 stars, helps us out a ton. Check us out on YouTube. We're on WEI's page. You can find our playlist there. Hit that thumbs up on those videos. That also helps us out a ton. And make sure you subscribe to WEI. Here with Sammy, here with Pat. Oh, also at the socials, at PlayTessie on both Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, here with Sammy, here with Pat. It's Gordo here behind the mic here. Sox get a split against the Braves. They are still 500. They're 500 like every time we do this show. And if there's a 3-game series and they can't be 500, they're within a game of 500. It's every episode. Great second game. Not a good first game. I mean, a split with the Braves, I feel like we all would have taken. I want to say that you guys and Joe all predicted the Braves to sweep the Sox. So I think definitely you'd take a split, right? Like you'll take the split.
Yeah. And we'll get to our predictions for the recap predictions and then predict the next series. But I was kicking myself today for not predicting a split. You know, it seems obvious, like the Braves beat up the Red Sox in 2024, of course. But this is the most 500 team of all time. And I'm just upset with myself for not sticking with that script. So shame on me. I'll be better next time.
Are you implying that you're gonna, and you don't have to answer, but you are implying that you're gonna predict a split against the White Sox?
No. The White Sox are an outlier.
We'll get there.
No, I'm not predicting the Red Sox. I'm predicting the Red Sox to win that series. That's all I'll tell you. We'll get to it.
God, I'm starting to. I might predict a split just for the laughs. I'll think about it. Pat, what's going on, buddy?
Not much, but no, you made a good point. I mean, you're facing, granted a hurt team, but Fried absolutely mowed them down yesterday. I think everybody kind of saw that one coming. And then today was a true coin flip, but you just kind of figured, it's one of those games you're going to lose. But little did I know at the time of the prediction that there was going to be over 10 mile per hour winds today. I would have taken Red Sox. Just throwing that out there now. I'll start checking the forecast. But no, you got to be happy with the split.
Do we have the stat on that? I know that was from Brooksgate, right? Brooksgate had.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Thank you, Sammy.
This is important.
Yeah, no, this was a great stat. My guess was it was 9-0. I think they were 9-0.
I think it was 9-0. Or is that Sunday games? They might have been 9-0.
Here you go. The Red Sox are now 9-0 this year when the average wind speeds are above 10 miles an hour. They have 3 wins against Oakland, 2 against the Pirates, 1 against Cleveland, 1 against the Cubs, 1 against the Orioles, and now 1 against Atlanta. So you got a medley of bottom feeders and elite teams. As long as the wind is 10 miles an hour or better, Sox.
I'm just throwing it out there now. I know we got a series to recap. They are going to the Windy City.
Oh, that's a good point. Wait, hold on.
No, that's not why it's.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not why it's called it, right? Well, I forget. I went to Chicago to see Wrigley for the first time. Yeah, why is it?
It's a mafia. Can you hear me? By the way, my mic okay? Sorry, technical issues, folks. Windy is like it's a mob related term. Like windy means mob activity, I believe. Hold on. I'm gonna look this up, but it doesn't have to do with like actual wind,
Oh, it's disappointing.
Yeah, I remember they made sure to say that on the Wrigley tour. But we could get into before we get into the series, the one crazy MLB storyline that was making the rounds before. It was either on Monday or it was before game 1 on Tuesday. Was this gambling scandal, and no current Red Sox players were suspended or anything, but like former first round pick and like super top prospect that just didn't pan out. Jay Groom was betting on Red Sox games while he was in the organization. I got to pull up the stats because I thought it was hilarious that MLB got specific with what he or with what they were betting on. I'm going to scroll down to pull it up, but he was really, really, really bad with his
Talking
bet.
about Tuco Pita.
Are you ready? You want to hear the stats? All right. From July 22nd, 2020 through July 24th, 2021, Jay Groom placed 32 MLB-related bets. Of those bets, 24 of them involved the Red Sox Big League Club, all of which Groom placed while he was assigned to the Red Sox High A affiliate in Greenville. All of them were on the final outcome, and in total, he bet $453.74, an average of just over $15 a bet, and had a net loss of $433.54.
Come on, man. He's getting in trouble for that. That's nothing.
He got a year suspension for that.
Oh.
I don't even think the year suspension is like he literally lost almost every dollar he bet. Like he couldn't win a bet.
I do think it should be very, very illegal for athletes to bet on their own sport. Like you have so much inside information when you're doing that. I certainly don't agree that it should be legal. I know a lot of people are like, well, DraftKings is a sponsor. Why don't you let the guys gamble? No, it's illegal because it should be illegal. But man, that is embarrassing. The worst one is Tucu. Got to help me with this name. Tucu Pita Marcano, who placed 231 bets and only won 4.3% of them. And he's like the main guy.
$150,000. That was $150,000 that he placed in bets.
That's much lower than I would have guessed, honestly. I thought you were going to say like $2 million, and that was all the money he ever made in Major League Baseball, and now he's broke or something. But still, it's the embarrassment that's the real killer here.
Where do you go from there if you're that guy?
Not the casino.
You try to get a job at DraftKings.
You could be like a DraftKings, like an influencer. You could be that guy. Him and what's his face, Jonte Porter. They could be DraftKings influencers together.
Where does he go next? Therapy, a lot of therapy, because if you're that bad at gambling and you still continue while you're losing that much money, you should probably see a counselor. It's not good.
And then we also got an Ipe update.
Oh yeah, Ipe. God.
33-year maximum sentence for Ipe.
Yeah, that'll come. That sentencing's in October. And yeah, you're right, Pat. 33-year max sentence, which is insane. I'm starting to like this might be the first time I'm actually kind of on board with him potentially having done it and it not being a Shohei cover-up. Like I'm starting to accept that maybe Shohei didn't do anything here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like if they're digging up Jay Groom betting $250, they would find evidence of Shohei placing bets.
But do they cover it up? Is the thing because they need.
Who's they? Who's they though? You say they,
league.
but who's? I don't think is it the league investigating or they have a third party.
I think the league and the FBI investigate because there's so much money.
The FBI.
Too many loose ends here.
I agree. I don't think I for a while thought it was a cover up, but you're right. There's too many people, too many giant entities that would need to be in on it. It would be the craziest story in sports history if like the FBI and Major League Baseball and Shohei and Ipe and like the bookie, like all of these people would have to be in on it.
Yeah, that would be some collusion. My God. That's, by the way, that's a tough word to say on podcast. Entity. Do you say
entity?
And do you say like
I pronounce the T's.
Entity?
Entity.
I kind of roll like, oh, it's a separate entity. Oh fuck, how do I say it? See, now I'm thinking about it too much.
Entity.
That was good. I like that. You gotta say it like you don't care. Entity.
So let's get into some Sox here. Before the series started, they announced that Wilyer Abreu went on the injured list for spraining his ankle falling down the stairs, and the video is as stupid as the actual injury sounds. Like he legitimately slipped down. What are there, like 3 stairs to get into the dugout, and he fell down those and twisted his ankle up so badly that he needs to see a specialist? Like, that's crazy.
Not great.
I mean, it's kind of funny how that news was broken to me because I was watching the game on television and I said, hey, it's nice out. I'm going to go on a walk and listen to the game. And there's a little dead spot in my the apartment complex I live in. So I lost the feed for a little bit. So in my head, I'm like, oh, Wilyer slipped, but he's fine. He went back out. And then Gordo, you texted me like 30 minutes later when Westbrook came up. I was like, oh, Westbrook's up. And you're like, yeah, Willie's hurt. So I was like just walking around thinking that nothing had happened, like that he slipped and he's fine. And then you broke the news to me. And then I was very sad on my walk and it ruined my walk.
Yeah, and not just that, but after the game, I mean, the Red Sox do this all the time. Like after the game, Wilyer was saying, yeah, I feel like I'm fine. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to make me miss time. Like they always downplay the injuries. Like they did it with O'Neal too. They're like, yeah, day to day, and then he goes on the injured list.
In his defense, he might have. If it's an ankle, and Pat, please correct me if I'm wrong. Those kind of feel fine for a little bit, and then they swell up and start to hurt more. At least in my if I've had any ankle issues, it hurts later on more so. Pat,
that's what he said too. He said it started to swell a bunch.
And it sucks because his hair looks sick right now. Like his flow, perfect baseball length, and now we don't get to see it for 2 weeks.
It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Imagine looking so good you can't be on camera.
Gordo, you like that?
Thick Willie, man, his hair's looking great.
We do monitor everybody's hair on the team. Last week we're talking about Chase Anderson's facial hair and how he's starting to get that lettuce. Who we need to see Brad Keller's hair. I don't remember his hair from his first outing.
I feel like it's unmemorable. I feel like it's like my hair, very unmemorable.
We need Zach to grow his hair out. We need Zach to do a man bun.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys want to hear? I mean, obviously you watched the game, but it really is crazy. The lineup that they put out there for the first game against Max Fried in wake of Thick Willie going on the injured list, and it was the day before Tyler O'Neill returned,
following an off day.
You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Leading off Duran in center, batting second in left Ref Snyder, batting third and catching Connor Wong. Cleanup third base Devers. Batting fifth at second base is Jamie Westbrook for his first big league start. Batting sixth at DH is Garrett Cooper. Batting seventh, playing right field is Bobby Dahlbeck. Batting eighth, a lefty Dom Smith. And batting ninth, Cedon Rafael at short. That was the lineup that the Red Sox put out there against not just one of the best pitchers in baseball in Max Fried, but one of the hottest pitchers in baseball. He has been lights out, and he did it again against the Sox in this game. He set his career high in strikeouts, which I wasn't surprised at all that he did that.
Yeah, dude. But the problem with this is I want to be pissed about the lineup because it's awful, but who do you even get mad at for this? Everyone's hurt. I know the depth could have been a little bit better, but this one, everyone's on the IL. They're all gone.
When the lineup came out yesterday, I was thinking this, and I'd be very curious to know you guys' opinions. Is that the worst lineup you've seen, not including 2020? So we'll say since 2021.
There was one earlier this year when Devers was out that I think was even worse. I can't recall what it was, but it was it was really, really ugly. It was before they traded for Cooper and Smith. Devers was still hurt, and it was before Wong kind of popped off.
Was it before or after? It was right around when Casas got hurt. I think Duran it was right after, and I think Duran was literally the only legitimate at the time. This is the only legitimate bat it feels like is in the lineup, and he was batting leadoff. So
they've had some bad ones, but I think Pat, to your greater point, the fact that this isn't even the worst lineup we've seen this year, is kind of shocking.
Yeah, and to your point before, Sammy, it's who do you blame? You're right. If they had signed the depth that they should have signed, it's okay, they've got Gio Urshela and someone else, two other guys in there, maybe an outfielder against Bobby or instead of Bobby.
This is the bad one. This is the really bad one. And it was Casas was in, but Devers was out. So This was April 18th, Cleveland at Boston. Duran in left, Casas at first, Abreu, who was cold at the time, in right. Here's where it gets bad. Valdez at second, Wong, DH, Hamilton, ice cold, at shortstop, Pablo Reyes, who's no longer with the Red Sox, at third base, which is not a position he plays, Reese McGuire batting 8th, Cedon Rafaela batting 9th. So with the context of this was long before Hamilton started hitting and a little bit before Wong started hitting, I would say that is easily the worst line. And by the way, I'm pretty sure that this is before Wilyer got going as well. So not only was it a bad lineup, but the guys who started to hit were not hitting yet.
What was the date of that lineup?
April 18th.
April 18th. All right. And so now we are almost 2 months later. That this lineup that we just read off for the series was June 4th. So you're talking about different sectors in the season. It's not like the Red Sox have just had one really brutal stretch. Like in 2021, there was that stretch where a bunch of guys got COVID. I still don't think the lineups they put out there in that time were as bad as this. But like that makes sense. If everyone's out at the same time, you're going to have a bad lineup every now and then. But these are multiple months apart, and it's just the injuries have completely ravished this team. They could sign all the depth in the world, and they could have paid as many pitchers as they wanted in the offseason. But if all of these guys got hurt at the same time, O'Neill, Wilyer, Casas, Yoshida, forgetting one. Oh, Grissom. Like, if all of these guys are hurt at the same time, like, I really don't care what offseason moves you make. You're going to have bad lineups out there.
Yeah, I couldn't even get mad at this one. They already tried to get depth. They already tried with Cooper. And I know Cooper hasn't been great, but that's still like, I'm never going to knock the Red Sox for the Cooper move. It was proactive, and that's what we all wanted. It was later than we wanted, but they got it done. And then Smith's actually been kind of a pleasant surprise. Of course, after I was saying, like, he's not that good. I don't know. People think, makes me look like an idiot. And he's been hitting and making some good plays defensively. He had one bad defensive inning, but overall, I think his defense has been good. But yeah, it's that frustration with no one to point the finger at, which is why I think people love to blame Pete Fatsie, which to me is completely insane.
Well, let's talk about the Dom Smith stuff for a second, because he had that really brutal inning. He made 2 errors and he felt terrible about it. He was talking after the game like he cost them the game, even though he hit a home run, I want to say like an inning later. But that inning kind of jump started, like it got Kutter's pitch count up. He let in a couple runs off it. He ended up letting up 6 runs, 4 of which were earned. So it was not Kutter's best, and we can get into that too. But I agree with you, Sammy. Outside of that inning, like Dom Smith has been a really pleasant, like at least like you could say what you want about the bat. We'll talk about that later. But he's been a pleasant watch defensively outside of that inning. I feel like no one's going to agree because they're all just going to remember that one inning, and like first base defense is not something that gets noticed. But yeah, no, he's been a stable force over there.
He made an unbelievable pick the other day. I believe it was in the finale. It was in the finale against the Tigers.
And it preserved the lead.
Yeah, preserved the lead. And it's when you're playing first base, and this, obviously, I'm no expert at first base, but this is like what I played in high school mostly if I wasn't pitching. When you dig a ball like that and it's close to your feet and it's kind of just like skips right into your glove, that's easy. But that one that Smith picked was that in-between hop that first baseman's dread, because it's so hard to read and you definitely don't have enough time to react. So his ability to pick that and make it look cool as fuck at the same time, really impressive. It was pleasant to see. I'm not sure if Casas makes that play, Dahlbeck, Cooper. That was really, really high-grade difficulty as far as first base defense goes. So credit to him for that. It sucks that he had some struggles in the following series.
Can we talk about his bat too? Because I can read you his stats and they don't jump off the page like even at all. But the stats don't match the eye test to me. He's hitting .213. He has 2 home runs. He has a .632 OPS. To me, he looks like he's been one of the better hitters in the lineup. You look at the game logs, they don't support that at all. I don't know what it is. I feel good with Dom Smith at the plate. The last few games he's hit, I don't know. Am I crazy? Like, I actually like Dom Smith.
I don't agree with that. I feel like when he's gotten his hits, most of them have been kind of, like soft contact things that fall in. He's hit the ball hard a few times, and he had a home run the other night, a Fenway home run, still a home run. But yeah, no, I don't know. I guess we're seeing it differently. I don't feel like he's making great contact. I'm trying to support my my take here. I mean, his average exit velocity rates aren't great, but that doesn't tell us much because we're not comparing him to the rest of the league here.
He also started off absolutely horrendously. I mean, today in the finale, he was 2 for 3 with a walk to boot. So he was on base 3 out of 4 times. Had an RBI and scored a run. I like the guy. He's been good. The numbers don't support me there, but I just I don't know. Maybe I am crazy because you don't agree with me. I don't know, but I feel good when he's up there.
To me, it's almost like he never starts an inning. He never starts the hit parade. He always joins in line. So when things are going well, he kind of falls into place and hits when everyone else is hitting. Outside of that, he's really hasn't been doing much. But like eye test wise, I agree with you, Gordo. Like I see him getting hits, and in my head, he should have better actual slash line numbers. It's almost like Ceddanne Rafaela. You're like, there's no way a guy who's hitting 210 has 35 RBI. It makes no sense.
Yeah, the Ceddanne RBI numbers are crazy.
Like, definitely not like a good hitter because, like Sammy said, it's very soft contact. It's bloop singles. It's ground balls down the. It's whatever. But at the same time, it's like he hasn't played that many games, and I'm seeing him get hits fairly consistently. I would think he had a higher average.
3 barrels. He's barreled the ball 3 times. His barrel rate is
the ball. He's not.
No, but his barrel rate is it's more than 3% below league average, which sounds like nothing, but that's actually a decent chunk.
What's his strikeout rate? Do you have that up there?
Strikeout rate, he's striking out almost 20% of the time, 19.6. The MLB average, where's the MLB average? 21.6. So he's slightly better than league average, but still, like, I mean,
that's the answer though. That's the answer. That's why we feel that way.
Like he's getting good luck on his hits, higher BABIP than his actual average, and he's not hitting the ball hard. So
232 is not a good BABIP. Your BABIP is supposed to be around 300. So if it's 232,
but
it's getting unlikely.
It's higher than his batting average, is what I'm saying.
No, I get what you're saying, but I'm pretty sure like that BABIP and FIP are different. Like FIP, it's like you relate it to your actual ERA. BABIP, if it's below 300, you're getting unlucky. If it's above 300, you're getting lucky.
Yeah, but even those stats need context because if you're hitting a lot of line drives, you're going to have a higher BABIP, and if you're not, you're going to have a lower BABIP. So that's why people look at these stats and they make like grand claims about them, which like I kind of just did. But they all need context. He's not hitting the ball hard is my big takeaway, and so I'm just not seeing it. But he's not bad. He's putting the ball in play at least, which was better than the guy he's supposed to be replacing. And he's not completely useless up there. He's not an automatic out. So that's how low the bar is.
Well, I think that you answered the question with the strikeout rate because so many players on the Red Sox have such a high strikeout rate. Like that's why it was so obvious that Max Fried was going to strike out double-digit guys in that first game. So if Dom Smith strikes out less frequently than the average major league hitter, then it's going to feel a little bit better because so many guys we see up there striking out 2-3 times a game in these lineups that the Sox are putting out there. So I think that might be the answer. Gets the bat on the ball to a degree.
Crazy, right? What happens when you make contact?
But these are the discussions. And it's interesting because like he has been better than Garrett Cooper, but at the same time when Tristan Casas returns and like also when Masa Yoshida returns, like these are left-handed bats. Wilyer Abreu is a left-handed bat. When these guys all return, the guys you need the right-handed bats.
I wonder what the thought process was behind all this. Like drafting all lefties, like everyone trading for like everyone's left-handed. Whatever. This is a conversation for another day. It just seems weird that you would.
Aren't the Red Sox like one of the only teams in the league that actually has like a surplus of left-handed bats? Like, isn't every other team in the league just like scavenging for left-handed bats, and the Red Sox just have?
I don't know. Maybe they're playing chess and we're playing checkers, and they're like, "Oh, look at this commodity we got." It's a good question. I don't know. Like, obviously, there's more righties than lefties. Just inherently, that'll always be the case. But like, I wonder what the rate is. The Red Sox compared to other teams. They got to have the most left-handed lineup in the league.
And then the most likely guy to be dealt at the deadline out of the position players,
righty.
Tyler O'Neill, who's a right-handed.
Yeah, it's true. Shall we move on to discuss some of these pitchers or the two starting pitchers from this series? Because it was a it was a tale of high and low, and we can start with Kutter just because he came first. Just going to highlight it. In his first 5 starts this season, he had an 0.66. Sorry, I think it was an 0.66 ERA, and then in his last 5 starts, he has a 6.59 ERA. So obviously, we knew that his start was not going to continue. Like, that was just an unsustainable number there. But I also, watching him, don't think that he's been as bad as that 6.5 ERA says. I know it hasn't been good, but a lot of these, like if you look at the inning by inning with him, it's been a lot of chunk innings. Like we look at the Gunnar Henderson grand slam inning. He went 6 innings, 5 runs that start, and every one was in that inning. And this start, it was 2 unearned runs. Then he had an inning with a run, and then he had a 3-run homer. So basically, 3 out of the 4 earned runs he allowed were off one swing of the bat of Ozzie Albies. His stuff ticked down at the end of that start when he got to the 80-ish pitch mark. But I mean, I do think it's good that the Red Sox are, and we'll get into this in the series preview for the next one, but they are going to go with a bullpen game in the 4th game of the series. And I think that's so important because they relied on Houck and Kutter to eat innings when they had multiple starting pitchers down and needed a bullpen game and needed to keep the bullpen fresh. Like they were pushing those guys, and Houck's been able to, I mean, it's so impressive that he's been able to stay at his standard through that. Kutter, on the other hand, has definitely ticked down a little bit. In a perfect world, you could skip him for a start, but they don't really have that luxury right now. But I'm just curious about you guys. I'll start with you, Sammy. Where do you stand on Kutter Crawford moving forward? Like, how confident are you that he can bounce back from this rough patch?
So I agree with what you said. His performances aren't as bad as his recent numbers would lead you to believe. And a lot of those struggles that he's had, they've come in chunks, like you said. 2 things to that point you're making. One, it encourages me and makes me think, okay, it's not like he's struggling through the whole game. He has a bump in the road, and then, sometimes he settles in, sometimes it comes at the end, sometimes it's really early. Regardless, the majority of his starts, he looks fine. The second way to look at it is if you're really a top tier pitcher or even like a number 3 starting pitcher, you learn to not have those blow up innings. You limit those innings to 1 or 2 runs rather than a grand slam or whatever it was on Tuesday where he gave up 4 runs in an inning. I know they weren't all earned, but still. So this is what we need to look at for Kutter Crawford. And we spoke about this a few weeks ago. Are we worried? No, we're not worried yet because we need to give him the time to adjust. If he's able to adjust, I think we'll all feel really good. Not as if he's an ace or anything, but that he's like a mid-rotation, back-end rotation, solid major league pitcher. If he does not adjust and he keeps having these meltdown innings and it starts to hurt the team and it makes his outing shorter and the bullpen is taxed even more because of it, that's where you start to get concerned. So still not worried about Kutter Crawford. Need to give him some time to adjust. Will he do it? We shall see.
I agree. A lot of it has to do with the expectations, just because coming into the year, I mean, people were high on him, but when you start the year with 5 starts like that and your ERA is below 1 and you're being thrown on these top 10 MLB starting pitcher power ranking charts, yeah, people's expectations are going to grow, and his velocity has ticked down a little bit. I do think that getting him a little bit of additional rest any way they can would help. But Pat, I'm curious, expectations wise, were people quick to jump the gun on Kutter? And what should their expectations for him? I don't want to say moving forward, but just like at least for the next month or so, what should people's expectations be?
Yeah, I mean, the analytics, even dating back to last year, really like Kutter. He hides the fastball well. It's got good ride on it. His pitches are good, but it's more of the same. We knew this last year. It's right around that 5 inning, that 80 pitch mark. The velo ticks down, stuff doesn't play as well. So I think people were kind of quick to jump the gun because I think a lot of guys come out of spring training. I mean, they had months off, good ramp up, fully healthy spring training through 5 starts. That's not much on the body. And he was dealing. He looked phenomenal, but it's a lot like Tanner Houck used to be. That 3rd time through the lineup, he couldn't do it. He would get blown up in the 3rd time through. Same thing around that 5 inning mark. Tanner Houck adjusted. Look at him right now. He's a top 5-10 pitcher in all of baseball so far this year. So granted, not saying if Kutter makes that adjustment, he'll be as dominant, but don't rule out an adjustment. It's very possible. We've seen it before. I think over the next month, he'll kind of be between where he's been and where he started. if that makes sense. He won't be getting blown up, but he'll be limiting the damage.
And it's nice that he's kind of doing this alongside guys like Houck, even I guess Pivetta, guys who are kind of still trying to find their footing, I guess you could say, at the major league level. Criswell, better example than Pivetta, Bayo. So yeah, it's good. He's. I feel like this is natural. We're like watching him grow up before our eyes as a major leaguer, and he's gonna have these struggles. You can say the same thing about all those other guys I just mentioned. So it's all about adjusting. We got to wait and see. So I would stress to Red Sox fans, patience with Kutter Crawford.
I agree. Patience, and it definitely doesn't help him that like he was being paired with Tanner Houck. Like it was Kutter and Houck and Kutter dominating for a month plus. And while Kutter has kind of come back down to earth, which you could expect, I mean, like what's it? Water finds its level. Like he's a good pitcher, but he's not an elite ace frontline guy. He came down. His numbers have evened out. His ERA is in the mid threes now. Whereas Tanner Houck is he's still in God mode. His ERA is 1.85. Yeah. Like
Tanner Houck's
no idea.
He's a whole different story. Yeah. And by the way, we also shouldn't lose sight that it's still pretty early in the season. Today was game number 62, which means there's still 100 games left. So we got a long way to go. It's too early to put labels on any of these guys. But like I just alluded to, Tanner Houck, like it's getting to that like, holy shit, is this guy actually like an ace kind of pitcher? Because this is so far down the spectrum of success that you kind of are forced to be like, all right, what are we seeing here? This is different. Kutter is more like, okay, this guy's a solid pitcher. He's going to have his ups and downs.
And not for nothing, when we were watching them both dominate, we all agreed that Houck looked different when he was doing it. Houck was just blowing guys. Like Kutter got the results and like it looked good. Houck looked ace. Like it looked it.
Gordo. You had a whole rant last episode about the phrase, what was it, made to order?
Yes, I hate that.
What does not for nothing mean? Same boat for me.
Okay, not for nothing means it's not worth nothing. It's double negative, means what I'm about to say is worth something.
But doesn't that imply that the other stuff that you're saying might not be worth anything?
No, I think it more so implies that, like, if I didn't say that, you might think it's worth nothing. So I'm just making sure you know that it's not worth nothing.
So if you say that, we're like, oh, yeah, big take coming. Like, listen up for this one.
Yeah.
If you're tuned out, tune in now, because this is not nothing.
Yeah.
If we lost you, listen up. Gordo take. All right, cool. Nothing. I just had to, taste your own medicine. This guy.
You know what else? Artisan. You know what else might not be worth nothing? It's not for nothing. Might not be worth nothing. Nick Pivetta's ERA on the season down to 3.4, and in his last two outings, he's thrown 12 1/3 innings. He's allowed 2 earned runs. He struck out 9 guys in each of his last 2 outings. He has 18 strikeouts in his last 12 1/3. Facing the Tigers, who are mid, and the Braves, who are really good. I know they're not like the Braves that we saw last year, but they're still one of the best teams in baseball. And Pivetta comes out here and just flat out dominates. I'm going to find it. I know he only allowed 1 hit in the finale here, but I'll find it while one of you guys gives your takes here. But just Pat, I'll go to you first. What are you seeing from Nick Pivetta lately that just is making him so dominant? Do you expect it to continue? Because Dave O'Brien was talking about it on the broadcast. Around this time of year is kind of when we've seen Nick Pivetta at times. And I think he's specifically referring to last year, because this is around the time where he got moved to the bullpen. And as soon as that happened, he entered God mode and never left. Do you expect this run to continue from Nick Pivetta? Like, what do you think we're going to see from him moving down the line?
Yeah, I think he's been pitching well lately. We saw him pitch against Detroit last week,
Thursday,
and it started weird. Walked a couple guys, 4 pitch walk, first batter of the game. Location was spotty. Location's been a lot better. He's using every pitch in his mix. He looks exponentially better than he did when he first came back. He's returning to form. We saw it summer through fall last year. He's capable of being dominant. He is. He's now finding that rhythm, and it's the same point it was last year. Right when summer rolls around, he's finding his rhythm. And I think he's going to keep building. And we saw it last year. Like, sure, it's a flash in the pan. It's a long fucking flash. He's capable of being consistently good, and I think he's going to keep going.
I have a take on Pivetta. Gordo, when we were at that simulated game he was pitching at Fenway, when it was kind of quiet, we could hear him like screaming and going nuts on the mound.
Yeah.
He's definitely like a little bit insane in a good way. Yeah. I feel like these big matchups or big games, he kind of gets up more for him. So when you're facing Atlanta, like this, one of the scariest lineups in the league, he's like, all right, lock in Canada. I got this. But then you're facing Detroit. He's like, a bunch of failed prospects. They'll probably option this Torkelson guy after the series or something. I'm not super hyped. So like, I don't know. He might be a big game pitcher, and we've seen it in October, and then the Nationals game to get to the wild card game in 2021. So it might be one of those big game guys. He's got like a closer mentality as a starter. How's that for a twist?
Sammy, if I'm not saying I would start him if the Red Sox made the playoffs, I'm not saying I would start him game one, but I am going to tell you that I feel the most confident in him as a big game pitcher on this team out of anyone. And it's not like to say that Tanner Houck is not, but we've seen it from Pivetta in the playoffs. We've seen him in bigger games. I mean, he comes into this start against Atlanta, and like these are guys who kind of torched him last time out, but that was his return from the injured list. So he was just kind of getting right back into it. And he's like, they all think that this Ozuna guy that he's going to kick my ass. I'm going to fucking pump 3 straight fastballs and show him who's boss. And he owned Ozuna today. Owned him.
Ozuna. How about that first at bat? They were. I love Will Middlebrooks. Love that. He got a kick out of that first at bat. How it was like, Marcell Ozuna, one of the hottest hitters in baseball. He's been hitting home run after home run. Pavetta's like, fastball down the middle. Fastball down the middle. He just keeps throwing it to him. And Ozuna's like, all right, there's no way he's going to do that again. That would be really stupid. Does it again.
But I think that's when Pavetta's at his best, is when he challenges guys. I think his downfall begins is when he tries to be a finesse guy. He tries too hard to get the off speed on the edges. Like he tries to finesse. When he challenges guys and just shoves, that is when he is at his best. And I think that's why he's so good in those big games, because he just wants to prove it. I am good enough for this game. I am good enough for this stage. Here's my best stuff. Try and fucking hit it. That's when he's at his best.
Do you think maybe he's scared off by the home run thing? Because that's been the big talk about him. Like, oh, Nick Pivetta gives up too many home runs, and maybe that's sometimes, not all the time, hinders him from attacking the zone. I don't know. It's hard to psychologically diagnose a player like that, but there's a lot of ways you can look at it. But I agree with you, Pat. When he's attacking the zone and has that kind of like fuck you mentality, I like Nick Pivetta a whole lot more, and that's why I would trade him at the deadline for a controllable.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that today. You absolutely have to entertain that. You should entertain that.
All right. Well, hey,
at the deadline. This is Sammy, you sent this stat into the chat, but this was the first time that the Braves have been shut out in 182 games. And it was at the hands of Nick Pivetta, Zach Kelly, and Brad Keller. So everyone knew that Brad Keller was going to be involved in that shutout. That was you just thought that Brad Keller would be the 7-inning guy, not the 1-inning guy.
A lot of good pitching on the Red Sox. And here is a report from Bob Nightingale that Jordan Montgomery, who did not come to the Red Sox, was just booed off the field by his home fans after giving up 7 hits and 6 earned runs over 2 American innings. That is not good.
He, I believe, had a 5.85 ERA going into that.
Jesus. Yeah, I mean, that's for a veteran like that, people are going to roll their eyes. Like, he missed all of spring training. He's going to suck for like a month or two, probably.
Snell.
Well, okay, yeah, this is my question. This is my question to you guys here. Is this a case of like these guys are around 30, they're pitchers, you see pitchers decline around this time, and this is just what's happening? Or is this just they missed spring training? And I know that Blake Snell has said that, yeah, the first time that I faced big league hitters this year was in my season debut. Is it just a case of that, or are these guys cooked and like pause should be like are we gonna see the same thing with like Max Fried next year? We see him strike out 13 guys today. Is he gonna do that next year?
No.
They missed spring training thing.
This is. I mean, there's no way. What's more likely? that both Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery just fell off a cliff, and they both happen to be the guys who signed without spring training? Or is it more likely that baseball players are very meticulous with the preparation and they need spring training, and it just happens that the two guys who completely missed spring training are struggling? I think it's very clear. Also, Matt Chapman was ice cold when he signed with he's a hitter, still ice cold to start the season. Now he's kind of clicking. And who's the fourth? The Boris 4?
The Boris 4? Sorry,
JD.
I thought you were going for the Giants. Yeah, JD. No, JD was the 5th. It was Bellinger.
It was Bellinger. Yeah, so he kind of scuffled at the beginning too.
Yeah.
This is
But
what happens. Go ahead, Pat.
I think
sorry.
it also I think it's a perfect storm of both though, because I think right around 30 is when you're 24, 25, you can just kind of jump into physical activity and you're cool, you're fine, you can adjust. Around that 28, 30, 32, that kind of range, there's a lot of like meticulous process. There's a real ramp up. There's getting adjusted. You have to take care of your body, and being removed from a team, removed from trainers, removed from whatever. I'm sure obviously they're working out on their own, but being in a team environment with staff, the training staff, getting ramped up with major league talent, it just sucks. I mean, I guess blame Scott Boras, but it's a little bit of both, I would say. Age and then not having the preparation at their age.
Monty blamed Boris. He canned his ass real fast.
Yep.
By the way, Gordo, if the Red Sox signed Max Fried, an ace, and a nice Jewish boy, I would forgive John Henry for everything. Right immediately. I'd be like, it's all good. Cool. I'm the happiest man in the world. This would be, I would be over the moon. I don't think there's anybody I want more. He's a free agent, right?
Yep.
He's the big one. He's the big one.
And he's a lefty. The Red Sox don't have any lefties.
Free.
Right? Is Criswell a lefty? I don't think he's a lefty. He's a righty. No. So yeah, they don't have any lefties.
Yeah.
What?
Fried.
Criswell.
Corbin Burns. Did Wheeler sign an extension? Wheeler signed an extension, correct? Yeah. Walker Buehler.
Is Sasaki going to be available? I don't know if that's this year or next.
Maybe Sasaki. Yeah.
If he's this year, he's not even.
A little pitching year.
Pivetta too.
Yeah. That's the thing is like, I mean, they'll get Giolito back, but you're seeing they need the depth. Criswell doesn't have options next year. So.
I was having like an hour and a half long conversation with my friend about the depth of the pitching for 2025. And it took about an hour and a half the whole time for us to realize that Giolito also on the team. So yeah, that's fun. Look forward to that. Andrew Bailey.
Yeah. Andrew Bailey, who you'll see in a social video coming up, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. For now, should we go into the preview with the best team in professional sports?
Hit it.
What? Oh, it's a joke. I get it.
The Red Sox are going to Chicago to play against, as I said, the best team in professional sports, 15-46 Chicago White Sox. We're recording this before their game tonight, so add a win or a loss to there, more likely than not a loss. They are the worst team in baseball. They're coming off a 2-game series with the Cubs in which they've dropped the first game as we're recording this. We'll see about the second, but yeah, they're probably going to get swept. Pitching matchups you've got in the first game, Tanner Houck versus Jake Woodford. Tanner Houck is
the two favorites for Cy Young.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tanner Houck with a 1.85, coming off 7 innings of 1-run ball and 6 strikeouts against Detroit. Jake Woodford, as Pat said, also a potential Cy Young candidate. He has 1 start this year, 4 1/3 innings of 3 earned run ball and 4 strikeouts versus the Blue Jays. Game 2, the toughest game of the series. Actually, though, no joke in there. Cooper Criswell has a 3.92 ERA, coming off 5 innings of 1-run ball and 5 strikeouts against Detroit. On the other side, unless he gets traded before then, is Garrett Crochet, who's got a 3.49 ERA, and he's coming off 6 innings of 1 earned run ball and 8 strikeouts against the Brewers. 3.49 is good, but don't let it fool you. This guy's allowed 2 earned runs or less in 7 straight starts, and he strikes out the world. This guy is absolute filth. And Ken Rosenthal dropped the report yesterday that they are listening to trade offers for him, and the Padres are super into it. It'd be my dream to have him on the Sox. I'll tell you that. But yeah, he's probably not going to get traded before this start. He's probably going to make a start against the Red Sox. And considering the Red Sox strike out at a ridiculous rate, you might see 8, 10, 12 strikeouts from Garrett Crochet there.
He's a lefty too.
Yeah.
Even better. Even better.
If somehow the Red Sox got Garrett Crochet, Having Garrett Crotchet would give me a crotch rocket. I was
Hell yeah.
so happy to have Garrett Crochet.
Yo, Pat, you have the best terms to describe inappropriate things. Like you like, no
crotch
pun intended,
rocket.
whip out a new one like every time I see it.
Yeah, we'll get you a crotch rocket in Boston, either at the deadline or next year. If the Sox win like 15 out of 20, maybe you'll get a crotch rocket in Boston this year. Game 3, Brian Bayo, a 4.36 ERA coming off 6 1/3 innings of 4-run ball and 5 strikeouts against Detroit. He goes against Nick Nastrini, who has a 9.74 ERA. He's
the third favorite for the Cy Young.
Yep, an absolute stud with his 9.74 ERA coming off 4 innings of 4 earned run ball and 1 healthy strikeout against the Milwaukee Brewers. The last game of the series will be, in all likelihood, a bullpen game for the Red Sox, and those guys will take on Chris Flexen, who has bounced around the league since being reasonably good for the Mariners briefly, but he's not anymore. He's got a 5.19 ERA. He is coming off 5 innings of 1 earned run ball and 4 strikeouts against the Cubs. Hitters to watch, they have one of them. It's Luis Robert has an 867 OPS, but only in 8 games this year. As we're recording, he's returned for just 1 game. He hit a home run in his return. They also have our old friend Tommy Pham. He's ready to fuck you up. He's got a 733 OPS.
Hell yeah.
Gavin Sheets is okay. He's got a 744 OPS on the year. And then more recently, Nicky Lopez has a 917 OPS in his last 10 games. Andrew Vaughn has absolutely stunk this year, but in the last 8 games, he's got an 812 OPS. So let's get into these series predictions. We were talking about this. Sammy said that they're definitely going to get swept. So we'll move to Pat. Pat, what do you think for the series?
I'm not going to beat around the bush. They're going to win 3 out of 4, and they're going to lose the Garrett Crochet start. Tanner Houck might look like Randy Johnson. I'm not exaggerating that at all. They will not touch Tanner Houck. That game is, I would bet the ranch on it.
I got a fun fact on Game 4 starter Chris Flexen, and boy, are you guys going to be blown away by this one. Chris Flexen has the highest release point of any pitcher in Major League Baseball. He does like a windmill when he throws, like way over top.
So the anti Tanner Houck.
He's the anti Cooper Criswell, I would say.
Yes,
he's
the
like Rogers on the Giants, the guy who has like the dirt come off the mound because he throws so low.
Oh my god!
Yeah, this guy is the opposite of that. He's got a weird ass release point, and he was nasty on the Mariners for like a year, and then just fell off a cliff. So, but anyway, my prediction exact same as Pat. I think they lose the Crochet start, and I'm not just saying that because it's like, oh, it's the one good White Sox pitcher. It's legitimately an awful matchup for the Red Sox. He's a lefty, he gets a lot of strikeouts. He's fucking huge too, big moose out there. I believe he also debuted. Did he debut the same year he was drafted?
Yep, drafted out of TCU, I believe.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he's nasty, and he's healthy now too, which is really, really scary. So I think win, loss, win.
They wasted that guy for years. They had him stewing in the bullpen for no reason. And the first year they let him start, he's this good. I'm with you guys. 3 out of 4. They win all the games except for Crochet. We're all going the same. I have to go with you guys because it feels too obvious. I do want to call in Joe here. I forgot to get a score update from this last series. I can't believe I forgot because Joe, you can tell us how it went.
Well, you should know how it happened, Gordo, because you were the only one that got a point.
Hell yeah.
Everyone predicted a 2-game sweep or 2 get swept, and you were the only one that correctly picked a Game 1 loss and a Game 2 win. So, lottie freaking da for you.
Hell yeah, brother. What's the score?
Joe
just kicked himself.
Wrong button. Sammy's still in the lead with 8. Gordo, that point actually tied you now with Pat for second. So Sammy's got 8, and you two have 4.
Pat's getting Joe. You could say that I'm coming up the rear, right, buddy? and Sammy already came up the rear in Crystal Bomb, which we'll get to in a sec. Actually, we'll get to it now. Pat, what's it time for?
It is time for another edition of Crystal Bomb.
Bomb it.
Joe, scoreboard update.
No changes from the last series. Everyone did not correctly picked. Pat, you said Emmanuel Valdez would hit it. He was close.
So close.
He didn't get
So
it.
close.
Sammy went with the Garrett Cooper selection.
Didn't make contact, I don't believe. I don't think he made contact this series.
Gordo, you went with old Connor Wong. We only saw him in one game.
Yeah, that was my mistake there.
And then I decided to ride the hot hand with Ceddanne Rafaela, which seems like a giant mistake. So the standings still have Gordo in the lead at 9, Sammy in second at 6, Pat is in third with 3, and I am behind with 1.
That's the thing, Joe. You got to learn. Ceddanne only hits homers for me. All right.
I know. I said in the group, Duran was going to be my pick, but then I changed it last minute, trying to ride the hot hand of Rafael. So you live and you learn.
What are you gonna do? All right. We'll go with. I think I always go Gordo first. Sammy, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Okay. Not a ton of options with all the injuries and everything. I can't pick Devers because I picked him too serious. Hey, by the way, if you're new listening, the rule is if you pick somebody, you can't pick them again for 2 series. So I picked Garrett Cooper last time, Devers the time before. So those 2 guys are off limits for me. I'm going to go with, give me Duran. Duran hit a home run today. 3 out of the 4 pitchers he's going to see are righties. I like that matchup. He's the Iron Man. He plays every day. And he's also got that outside chance at an inside the park home run, which would be a sick way to get a crystal bomb point. Definitely counts. So yeah, that's my pick, Jarren Duran. I think this is the first time I've picked him this year. So hopefully it works.
I cannot wait until Duran hits an inside the park home run and then they rule it a triple. Remember, like he did, like, and it was like in his first week or 2 in the majors. He hit, it was like Kiermaier fumbled it in the outfield or something, and they gave him a triple. That's what's going to happen to you, Sammy. You're not going to get a crystal bomb. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, I'll take it.
Gordo?
So I can pick Devers. I'm not going to. And it's so that I can save him for 2 series down the line so I can pick him against the Yankees. I'm going to pick the guy who should have given Pat a point this week. I'm going Emmanuel Valdez. He's hit the ball super well lately. He's got 3 out of 4 games against righties, so I do think we are going to see him start 3 games in the series, and we'll see if he can maybe get in that second game at some point. I like Emmanuel Valdez. He is crushing the ball. Get one into the bullpens for me, buddy.
All right. So I'm going to preface this. Gordo, if Emmanuel Valdez gets you a point after what happened today for my point, I'm going to be livid. That's
the beauty of it. That's how I know it's happening. It's the reverse Ceddanne. It's like he's going to leave you just a little bit, a few feet short, and then he's going to hit like 3 homers for me in this series.
All right. I'm going to go with someone who's finally back in the lineup, went 2 for 4 today. I'm going Tyler O'Neill. I'm going with Tyler O'Neill. I think he puts it out in Chicago.
I don't hate that because he looked to be more on the ball. Like he was struggling.
He looked
before.
locked in.
He looked good. I like that.
He looked good. I'm going with Tyler O'Neill. For the love of God, get me off this cold streak.
Fine, then I'll take Devers if all of you are going to be scared.
I would take him. I can't, though.
I can't either. I think it's a go 2 series.
I can.
Yeah,
I'm not
Gordo,
doing it.
you were
I'm
saying in
saving
our
him.
text chat you were trying to play it safe, and now you're playing it safer.
Gordo, you got a 4. Wait, Gordo, who'd you take?
I didn't get a point this series. I just took Valdez. Are you talking about before?
Right. Okay. Why would you not take Devers? 4-game series with Devers?
It's purely because I want to take him against the Yankees in 2 series. I don't care if you guys take him too. I'm taking Devers in that series.
Oof. Without Cole?
Doesn't matter. It's the Yankees. It's what he does.
Okay.
That's what he does. I literally looked at it today. I was like, 4-game series. I can pretty much guarantee myself a point. But I think I can make it happen. I might go like Tyler O'Neill next series and then Devers.
All right. But you got Valdez. Man, I think you got a 4-game series. I'm picking Devers every chance I get if it's a 4-game series. That's like a free point.
I'm shooting for the moon here. I'm shooting for the moon.
Moon shooter.
Yeah, it's me. I'm a moon shooter. You know, actually, I have no idea how to transition that. Sammy, what's the time for?
Can we go? Wait, before we transition, can we? So the picks are: I got Duran, you got Valdez, Pat, you got O'Neill, Joe's got
Devers.
Okay. Good job, Joe. I would have done that if I could. All right. No losers in this segment. It's time for everyone's favorite part of the show. Guys being dudes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, new team. And by the way, this one, I'm counting on you guys. Don't mess this up. There's a lot of really, really easy choices in this one, and I'm counting on you guys not to take them. So I want something abstract.
Don't worry about
Mine is the furthest thing from easy you can get. We've definitely talked about him at some point on this podcast, but I promise you he's not easy.
Okay, I just didn't want you to be like, oh,
Chris Sale.
Like Chris Sale. Yeah, that would be so.
Oh my God.
No. All right, so here, if you're new, the segment, you got to pick a player who's played for both Sox, Red Sox, White Sox. Pat, who you got?
So I almost went with the bane of my existence. I will not do that. I will go with a former World Series champion, a one-time All-Star, Scott Podsednik.
Scotty Pat.
Scotty Pod. Scotty
Pat,
with the potty.
I'll ask you I'm sure I've asked it on this show. If I haven't, then it'll be interesting. Who was he traded with and for? The Red Sox traded him away before eventually getting him back like a week later or something off waivers.
Yep.
They traded him with a pitcher for a pitcher. Do you know the answer?
Brian Villarreal.
No, not that trade. That was Jake Peavy.
Not sure.
Ooh. So it would have been two. Actually, do we get him from Chicago?
I'm not saying how did they get Podsednik. Where did they trade him away?
Oh dear God. That would have been 2012.
Yep, you've got the year.
So I'm gonna go with Andrew Bailey.
Nope, but you're
Nope.
close. You're on the right track.
Craig Breslow.
They traded him and Matt Albers for Craig Breslow.
Hey.
Hey. Fat Albers.
All right, Gordon. Matt Albers also, I believe, played for both Red Sox, White Sox. Not sure.
He
But anyway,
sure did.
Gordo,
Yeah.
who you got? Is it Matt Albers? Is that your guy?
It's not. But on the subject of Matt Albers, you guys remember when he hit that double for the White Sox? And there's this video of him like he's like waving his fist in the air, and his like double chin is
His
like
gullet.
Oh my God, it's enormous. It's crazy.
I don't remember that.
I'll find the video. I'll send it to you guys after. But no, he's not mine. I am going with one of my favorite obscure baseball players of all time, Corky Miller. Played one game for the Red Sox. He played 14 for the White Sox. But if you have not seen this guy's mustache, please do yourself a favor and check it out. He is one of a kind. It is spectacular. I don't know, Fu Manchu type deal.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's a good call.
Man.
Here we go. Check that. And that's not even it at its bushiest either. Like that's just beautiful. He's a beautiful man. Look, he's talking to Joey Votto. Dude,
if your car broke down on the highway and this guy drove by you, he'd pull over and be like, "What's wrong with it?" and just fix it right away, and you'd be good.
I'll go a step further. If you broke down on the side of the road and this guy came up to your window, that would be the last human being you saw.
Whoa, is a serial killer?
Corky murder out to kill you.
Corky Miller, catcher and serial killer. All right, yeah, that's a great one. It's a shame that he took a turn down that path. All right, so here's my guy. This guy, not gonna lie, when I was doing my research on this segment, I did not know that this guy existed, but I love his name. You guys ever heard of Randy Gumpert?
No.
What a name, please.
There's not much to say. He was just some mediocre pitcher in the 1930s up until the early 50s. He pitched 10 games for the Red Sox. He pitched a lot more for the White Sox. 4.17 ERA, one-time All-Star, made the All-Star team in 1947. Or was that the right year? 1951. He won the World Series in 1947. As we all remember, that was a terrible year.
You remember.
He won it with the Yankees. It was not a good time. But his name is Randy Gumpert. Gumpert. So I just wanted to say Gumpert as many Gumpert times as I Gumpert can.
He could look like Corky Miller, and I wouldn't be surprised. But he looks like
he's plain.
Yeah, he's very plain.
He's playing, but he's Gumpert.
Damn
Missed
it,
3
those-
years due to a military service. Proud
Oh.
American man, and get the big Gump.
Those were the days, weren't they, Sammy?
He's in a bad mood. They would call him Big Dumpy Gumpy. That's a name that I gave him back in the 40s when I was working on inventing airplanes with Amelia Earhart. Probably got the time wrong with that, but that's all good. Pat, you missed my enough said last week. There were some college students that also thought I was a college student, and Gordo wants it not to be true, but
it's not.
It was true.
He's
was.
lying to you, Pat.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a girlfriend who goes to a different school too.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly it. She goes that. Oh yeah, she goes to Weston.
I don't know her, dude. She goes to private school.
Oh yeah, she goes to private school.
You wouldn't even know her. I go to 3 proms a year, bro.
Napoleon,
Built
you're just mad because I've been talking to hot babes online all day.
Shut up, Kip.
Pat,
You have
did
the
meet them
worst
through their
reflexes
bios?
of all time.
He smacks the shit out of him too. Oh no, I'm thinking of Rex Kwon Do. When Rex has Napoleon,
my
and
God.
he like actually smacked the shit out of him. That was
You think I'm a loser because I go home every night to Starla?
forget about it. All right. Enough has been said. Segment.
Enough has been said. I'll go first on this because this is something we definitely should have talked about before and just like straight up forgot to. But Chris Sale made his return to Fenway Park, and they gave him a tribute video like early in the game, like I believe it was after the first inning, and he got like an ovation. But I know that the way that the TV things work these days, it's like you can't hear the crowd as well as like you would if you're there, and the crowd just doesn't come through as well. But you could see like people were not standing to cheer. It just felt like a pretty subpar ovation for a guy who is not just the guy who closed out a 2018 World Series, but he's probably the best pitcher this team has had in terms of coming in and just being able to give you a dominant outing every single time. Like he had a day and it was deserved. The Sale day, like he was just incredible. And for multiple years, and he just was as good as they came. And people, I think that's been lost on people because I don't think he got the ovation that he deserved. And I hope that he knows that Red Sox fans like that, whatever subset of Red Sox fans was at that game doesn't reflect the way actual Red Sox Nation feels about him.
Well, I can attest to you that I was at the game and it was very heavily Atlanta based, and that's where most of the cheers were coming from. So, yeah,
that actually is a good explanation for it, Joe.
Yeah,
it's just all Braves fans.
It was full. It was a full Fenway Park, but I would say about more than half were Braves fans, and they were.
Why would they not all cheer? Why would they not all cheer? For the Braves, it's their pitcher now, and for the Red Sox, it's a tribute about his time. Everyone should be cheering. I think
think about it. That's different. Like if you're a Braves fan, you're just going to sit and cheer because it's like he's doing well for you. Like you like the guy. For a Red Sox fan, it's like, wow, I'm emotionally attached to this guy because he is a hero. I'm going to give him.
So everyone should be cheering.
Ovation.
Everyone on the Atlanta side, which was like around home plate and by the dugout, wherever, they were standing and they were cheering.
So the Braves fans were standing?
Well, good. When you put the camera on like the outfield or in the grandstands or whatever, just like sitting down and clapping, not like
that's so
giant cheers like woo, Chris Sale,
look what the fucking string of mediocre seasons. God, I don't want to get on my goddamn soapbox and do this shit again, but look what this mediocrity and lack of giving a shit by ownership has done to the fan base. Now they don't care. You're torching the brand. God damn, we've been talking about this. We talked about this all winter long, and it's exactly what's happening. Anyway, here's a string of texts from my dad who was at the game. I said, "How was the tribute?" And he said, "That was it? Are you kidding me? No one even knew." Great job. Great job, everybody. So not only
embarrassing. It was embarrassing because Nesson on the TV, like Dave O'Brien was talking about it the entire inning. Like we're not gonna go to commercial break. We're going to stay. Nesson always cuts right to commercial, but we're gonna stay right here so you guys can see the Chris Sale tribute.
Well,
they show the tribute. It's just, it wasn't a badly made tribute. It was just the fan reaction to it was terrible.
Yeah, two things I think. One, it's because he wasn't pitching, and two, everyone just figured out, oh, Chris Sale's back. Because they didn't because they don't pay attention anymore to day-to-day Sox.
I thought it was a bad look.
That's so
Red
bad,
Sox
man.
fans are
I'm so-
seen as some of the smartest in baseball, and I just thought that was one of the worst looks for our
I
fan base in a
will
while.
say the thing that like genuinely made me depressed was when they showed him in the dugout after the video. So he was full screen. The fans behind him are seated golf clapping. Like it's
Right.
bad enough that the whole like stadium's doing it. The people closest to him are physically seated. Just
Lame.
Yeah,
It's just
and it's terrible look.
You know what?
We
It's
gotta
so
be better.
if you're a Red Sox fan, you were at that game and you weren't cheering for Chris Sale, you suck. You absolutely suck. And you know what's crazy? Like the way that the fan base has been operating lately. After the whole Chris Sale thing, I forget what I even said. Something nice about Chris Sale, how I like him. And I got 2 responses. One was, this guy sucks. He stole money from the Red Sox, blah, 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 blah. The other response was, he should be in the Red Sox Hall of Fame. Can we just be fucking reasonable for 1 minute, please? I'm begging. He was very good for a short amount of time. It was enough to get them a World Series. He sealed the deal. He'll forever be etched into Red Sox history. And then he had a big time issues with injuries and it sucked. And we all felt bad for him. And he said everything right. End of story. That's Chris Sale. It was a good tenure, not a great tenure. I'll remember the good more than the bad. Fuck you if you didn't cheer.
It just the way like the good versus the bad, because I agree there were definitely some like there were rough years at the end, but it's not like they paid Chris Sale and he just like let himself go and just stopped caring. Like the dude wanted to be out there dominating more than any of us wanted him to be out there and dominating. It was killing him what was happening to him. The guy said everything, as you just said, perfectly. Like he was everything that a Boston athlete should be when he was great, and he was everything that a Boston athlete should be when things aren't going well for them. I cannot believe
that pisses me off. That's such a bad look. That's such a bad. People always say like, don't say we when you're talking about the team. This is we. This is the fan base, and it looks awful, and it pisses me off because that guy, like you said, Gordo, said everything right. He was the perfect guy to be here. He got hurt too much. We were all upset about it. We all agree. He was pissed off too. I hate that people don't like I just hate how people look at Chris Sale. I think it's so unfair, and I appreciate the hell out of him for, rolling with it like he always has.
Shout out Chris Sale.
It has not been a good week for Sox fans over the past week. The thing with the Tigers and then this.
What thing with the Tigers? Oh, the wave?
The wave.
Yeah, the wave, and then the Sweet Caroline after Martin's blow up.
Dude, but that's what happens when you alienate the hardcore fans. When you alienate the hardcore fans, and the only people going are, the casual fans and people like us who cover the team. This is what you're going to get. You're going to be like a West Coast team where nobody gives a shit until you're in the playoffs. And, oh, who's this guy on the team? When did they get him? Oh, that's interesting. I hate it. That's not Boston. And it starts with ownership. It's all like a domino effect, and it infuriates me if you can't tell.
It's what it feels like it's going to be. Like they're going to, like the first year they make the playoffs after this drought, it's going to be a whole bunch of, who is this guy? When did they get him?
When did they get Wilyer Abreu? Who's Wilyer Abreu? Is he good?
Is Billy Abreu any good?
Billy Abreu. Why do they call him Thick Willie? Is that about his? Oh, never mind.
I'll welcome that question. Let that question be commonly asked. Why are they
calling him Thick Willie? Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Joe, you're right. Bad week for Red Sox fans. We need to be better, all of us, except for Pat, because he's got the funny terms.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who wants to go second?
I can go.
You want to go, Pat?
Yeah. Mine's a genuinely serious one. Chris Martin was put on the IL today with anxiety. I am seeing a lot of fucking losers in the comments berating him for requiring an IL stint for anxiety. That being said, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, kiss my fucking ass.
Yeah.
Pucker up.
Well said.
Chris Martin, dude, I wrote this today on Twitter or whatever, X. He's 38 years old. He's been in Major League Baseball for 9 years. So if he's going down with something, mental health kind of thing, I assume it's pretty significant. Not to diminish anyone else, but this is not the guy I would expect to see this happen to. So I agree with you, Pat. Hope that people respect what he's going through. And you also kiss my ass alternatively if you don't want to kiss Pat's ass, if you're not going to respect that.
No. Double barrel it. Both of
Double
it.
barrel.
Double barrel it.
Yeah,
Double barrel.
or Gordo's after he eats his pizza.
Is that too steep of a punishment?
No, that's too much.
No,
That might be like
that's
first
perfect.
degree murder punishment right
That's
there.
a death sentence, man.
Yeah.
God, the Gordo pizza. You know what I hear every time I see a picture of the pizza, or like we talk about it, I hear that the boat horn from SpongeBob. They're like, yeah.
Well, the pizza looks like it is from the chum bucket. So you're not out of line hearing that noise when you see that.
Oh my god. Yeah, that was good. But yeah, Pat, I'm glad you brought that up. I agree with everything you said. Jokes aside, it was
Agreed.
important.
Yeah, I choose not to like read the comment sections in those threads because I just like so many people are so fucking stupid. It's crazy. Like you think that Chris Martin does just like what? He just like wants to just take a week. You think he just wants to take a week off or something? Like, are you like out of your fucking mind? Whatever. It's just stupid.
Yeah, Chris Martin doesn't want to be out there. Yeah. He's been in the
Crazy.
league for 9 years. He doesn't want to be out there yet.
He's got
really
a good group of guys though. It's a good group there. They're gonna be there to support him.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to getting him back whenever he's ready. But yeah,
Jared Duran also, he's dealt with, I won't say similar stuff, but he's also had mental health struggles and he's been public about it. So he's not alone, like you said, which is nice. All right, my enough said. Do we want to name the person who created this list?
Yeah.
No. Oh,
All right. So this was yesterday, Tuesday. John Tomasi of NBC Sports Boston, longtime reporter in the Boston area. He had a list of the biggest Boston sports villains. And I'll give you the list. You guys can... One of them jumps out. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
Read
Joe's
it out
already-
for the listeners though.
If you're listening, here's the list. Number 1, I'm going in order. Kyrie Irving, A-Rod, Ulf Samuelson, Roger Goodell, love that, Jack Tatum, Pat Riley, Bill Laimbeer, Bill Parcells, back-to-back Bills, Roger Clemens, and then here's where it gets weird. Number 10 and 11, David Price, what the fuck, and then John Henry. Now, I want to start on David Price because that's the one that really that pissed me off. And I normally these kind of things when I see them, I'm like, oh, this is bait. This is just someone trying to get a rise. David Price, for all his warts, in the 2018 World Series, 2-0 record, 1.98 ERA, 10 strikeouts in 3 appearances. I personally would have given him the World Series MVP for that year. Not to mention, he had multiple good seasons before that where he logged a ton of innings, which we now know the value of after the last few years, and had a low ERA and was the ace of the team, ace or number 2 once Chris Sale got there. And I think overall, despite him not loving the media and his little spat with Dennis Eckersley that I assure you they're both over now, I thought he was very good in Boston. He's not a fan favorite. He never was. He never will be. But you cannot take away that he was a good pitcher here. And without him, who knows how that 2018 World Series goes? Because he was fucking nails. Absolute
If it wasn't
nails.
for Steve Pearce, he's the MVP.
Yeah, I would give it to him over Steve Pearce. I mean, Pearce was great, but he wasn't good in the first 2 games, and he didn't play in the 3rd game. He basically had one good game where he had like a solo home run, and then one game where he just absolutely went off. So don't want to take anything away from Steve Pearce. I think he earned it fair and square, but my personal preference would have been David Price. And by the way, the narrative before that whole playoff run was that Price was a good regular season pitcher, couldn't pitch in October, would always get rocked. So I hate that choice. What do you guys think?
Remember when he said the whole "I hold all the cards now" after they won the World Series?
Oh yeah.
That was great. But yeah, I've never ever understood the David Price hate. I loved David Price when he was in Boston. Yes, the media stuff, like it could get frustrating as a media member and as a fan, whichever one you want it to be, but or whichever one you were. But the simple fact of the matter is every single one of his teammates loved him. He was invaluable on the field. As you said, Sammy, eating those innings and his playoff pitching in 2018. And people don't remember in 2017, he came out of the bullpen. He was good in that postseason too. It was a short run, but he was good. They won that one game that postseason because of him in part.
I'm not going to lie. I totally forgot about that. So good point.
Crazy, right?
You know what else is cool? Like the moment he signs at his press conference, he makes a joke about Jared Carrabis, who's a Red Sox content creator and a friend of the program. Like, that's cool to me. He's locked in. I like David Price. I thought he got a bad shake during his time here, and I thought he slid into a difficult situation and did an amicable job.
He was really good.
The other thing too, going beyond like the fan react, whatever. Looking at the numbers, he was here for 4 years. Won the division, and the World Series 2019. He went 46-24 with a 3.84. I don't know.
That's all needs to be said.
I don't know what about David Price's tenure, aside from, sure, there were some media scuffles and whatever. Numbers are numbers. When he pitched for the Boston Red Sox, he was good.
And they were good.
He won a World Series. They won 2016 was his first year here. I don't know if you guys know this, but 2015 was the 5 aces year, and they sucked balls. David Price comes in, 35 starts, a 3.99, 17-game winner, and they win the division. So
I like
get
that
out
more.
of here with David Price was bad.
I agree. And by the way, like media members, a villain to you is not a villain to the fan base. Dustin Pedroia was a dick to the media. 90% of the media, he was an absolute dick to them. No fans gave a shit about that. We love Dustin Pedroia. I think it's cool that he was a dick to the media. It's funny. It's part of his character. So anyway, didn't like that. Here's the, I would say, even more controversial one. Number 11 on the list, and this is a whole trolling thing because it's a list 1 through 11. If it were a real legitimate list, it'd be 1 through 10. John Henry. And I'll give my take on why I actually agree with Tomasi that he should be on this list. 2 things are true. John Henry is the best owner in the history of the Boston Red Sox. Full stop. I believe that fully, still today. Second thing that's true, in my opinion, there is no single person who is a bigger deterrent to the success of the Boston Red Sox today than John Henry. Therefore, if you're making this list, June of 2024, I put him on the villain list. Nobody is holding back my favorite sports team, the Red Sox, more than this guy. Therefore, he is a villain.
I feel like most people disagree with you on that, Sammy, but I wholeheartedly agree. He is easily the biggest villain in Red Sox lore right now, and that includes all of the other teams. That includes all of the Yankees players, and like everybody. He is the biggest deterrent, as you said, to their success. He's the biggest villain right now. He's been the biggest villain in Red Sox lore for a couple years, and who knows, he may continue to be. So yeah, I think he does belong on the list.
Yeah. I think my biggest gripe with the list was obviously David Price and current day John Henry. I still think, I don't know. It's odd because I feel like current day, you could, like John Henry be on that list. But if you're putting fucking Ulf Samuelson on there, I feel like there's no spot for John Henry. Like that's.
Yeah, he was a dickhead though.
He was. He fucked with Neely, but like. Personally, I mean, I put A-Rod above Kyrie, but...
Can I be honest with you guys? I have no clue who Jack Tatum is.
I don't know who Jack Tatum is. I also don't know who Ulf Samuelson is.
Oh, he was like the throwback enforcer douchebag hockey player.
Yeah, he was, I don't know if you... Like, Matt Cook and Nazem Kadri on steroids. Like, steroids being, like, just extrapolated dirtbag.
Yeah. And it was extra painful because he was like an objectively handsome dude. So he's just like the scumbag who would like do something scummy and be like, oh, so good looking. I'm like Ashley Parker Angel over here. Punch you right in the face.
Tom Wilson.
So, yeah. Other guys on the list, Kyrie, my least favorite athlete in the world right now. Least favorite athlete that doesn't have any serious legal issues, I should preface. A-Rod, always going to be on this list for me. Roger Goodell. I love that. That's funny. Back when the biggest rival for the Patriots was the commissioner. And then like Roger Clemens, I don't think should be on the list. He's definitely more of a Red Sox than a Yankee nowadays. And they've ghost retired his number. Nobody's more than 21.
If they hadn't won the World Series and he went to the Yankees and won championships there, I could understand him being on the list. But
yeah,
we've won 4. Like, okay, it's fine. We're friends again.
Also,
it's fine.
Bill Laimbeer.
He's funny as shit.
I get that. Yeah, I get that he's a villain. I wouldn't I wouldn't put it past anyone for saying that, but he's also like a big time Boston guy. Like he's born and raised in Boston and he sounds like he's from Boston. And like, I kind of think that's cool. Even though he was an enemy in basketball, he's probably a big Sox guy.
Go watch, if you haven't seen it, go watch the Detroit Pistons 30 for 30 about the bad boy Pistons. He was awesome in that thing. It'll make you appreciate Bill Laimbeer.
Bill Laimbeer, dude. Yeah, no, I get why he's on the list. I think he's kind of cool though. It's like a guy that you respect in hindsight. But yeah, anyway, controversial list. Good job, John Tomasi. That's what he wanted out of the list. He did a good job with it. I don't think David Price should be anywhere near that list. John Henry, good inclusion. And then I think Roger Goodell. It's a hilarious one.
Yep. And that should do it for episode 79 of Play Tessie. Before we get going, first, a quick shout. Go Celtics. Game
Let's
one.
Let's give our picks.
Drop day. Okay, yeah, quick picks. What do you I go back and forth. I'll let someone else go first.
Celtics in 6.
Fuck. I got Celtics in 5. Kristaps is good to go, which it seems like he is. I think the Celtics dog walk these guys.
Pat?
Celtics in 7.
Wow.
I'm also taking Celtics in 7.
Cool.
I think it's going to be I dabble between 6 and 7.
I've picked Celtics in 5 every series this playoffs.
It's
I don't know.
I'm confident they're going to win, but I don't think it's going to be easy.
They don't do much for me. They have the 2 best defensive guards in the NBA. They're going to stick them on Kyrie. Luka's going to do his usual thing. Bada bing, bada boom.
I just want to see how effective Porzingis is. If he looks like he's close to 100% and he's like having his way with all those Dallas bigs, then you can feel much more confident.
Good thing too. I've been listening to so many of these like series preview things. I work from home, so I just throw on a podcast, and they were saying a good thing for Kristaps is the way that the Dallas Mavericks run their offense. Their big men aren't like, they're not attacking the other team's big.
They don't want to play at the perimeter. They want to protect the rim. The Gafford and the Lively guys, they want to protect the rim.
Great on defense, but like Kristaps, I mean, like
Kristaps plays on the outside.
Yeah, so.
Inside
I like the matchup. If Kristaps is close to healthy, I will feel so goddamn good. I'm gonna be nervous as hell tomorrow, though. I'll give you that.
He's the key. I mean, yeah, it's the finals. I don't care if you think they're gonna win by 20 every game. It's gonna be nerve-wracking as hell, even if they go up 3-0. Like, it's championships on the line. And on that subject, we got a really cool video dropping today on drop day for game 1. We Sammy and I were at Fenway Park this weekend, asking some Sox players and media personalities about the series. We asked them, we got a couple of good responses in there. I'm not going to give anything away. So just on the socials at Play Tessie on both Twitter and Instagram, you'll be able to find that on the day of game 1. So on Thursday. So that will be up there. So excited for you guys all to see that. But before we get out of here, remember, hit that subscribe button, whether you're on Apple, Spotify, or the Odyssey app. Rate us 5 stars as well, and check us out on YouTube. We're on the WEI page. We've got a Play Tessie playlist. So hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. Give us your Celtics predictions. Just it's a Red Sox podcast. Just Celtics in 4. I don't know. Just give us what you think. Mavs in 4. We got a Mavericks prediction in there. Someone's got it.
Sammy's rocking a Kemba jersey.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder if that guy wants to be here in Boston anymore. But check it tomorrow.
Hey, Mike.
Does this guy even want to be here anymore?
Appreciate you guys tuning in. For Sammy and Pat, it's Gordo. Thanks to Joe behind, who's still at Fenway Park. Thanks for tuning in. Go Sox, go Celtics, toodaloo.